Today I'm going to do a little video on making reverse action wire tongs. We use them to hold, these are melting dishes used for making jewelry, recovering gold, silver, platinum. Well, no, these won't work for platinum, they're a little low on temperature, but they're just a little fused silica dish. Good for around 2900 degrees. And then I make these tongs out of 1/8 inch welding wire. It's copper clad. It makes a nice looking set of tongs. I need to make 40 of them today, but just for the video I'm going to go through it one at a time, bend them by hand. I make these, I have mandrels and benders that I make these with. So I'm going to get this set down and zoom in on it and we'll get going here. I take a piece of 1/8 inch welding wire, 36 inches long, and I have my cable laid out. Now I'll take a whole 5-pound box and lay it out on here. I have my lines marked on the table. I just get them lined up, take a straight edge, hold them on the line, slide them all up. But anyway, I'm just going to do one. So I take my mark and I go, my first mark, I make it 10.5 inches. Let me see if I can get it a little closer. So a line here, a line here. So I'll make a mark on the piece of wire at 10.5 inches. Now, I do this, I sell these on eBay, and the box I use is a 4x4x12 to ship these, and so I try to keep the length of my tongs at under 12 inches. Okay, so the next part is to bend this into a circle around a round piece of dowel. At home you could use a broom handle. Don't use a handle that's got more than one diameter on it, or you probably won't be able to get it off. So I'm going to grab a piece of dowel and a pair of vice grips. And believe me, this wire does not bend easy. Right here. I put the mark right on the 10.5 is right on the top of the center. Then you just take it and roll it around. You go around, you come until you get a hairpin shape. Now your little circle is kind of flared there. Well, that's not going to hurt a thing. I get this squared down. And that's just reasonably flat enough. It's not going to bother. So now you have the length that you want plus extra. So the next step is with your tape measure from about the center of the bend, go out 4.5 inches. Mark on that leg. Mark on this leg. So I now have my marks there. Then I'm going to mark two inches from the mark I just made, 2 inches. Another 2 inches. Then I clamp the channel locks, get the cap out of my mouth, right behind the mark. I clamp it, and then I just give it a slight bend. I do the same thing on this side. Okay, so now I got a little bit of a diamond shape here. Then I go to the next mark, clamp right behind the mark, and just bend it around the opposite direction that I just bent it. So now our leg looks like that. So now, when we put those together, they're starting to resemble this. Then this is where just a little bit of extra tweaking, which I really don't worry about until I get the parts welded on. Then, what you want to do is take a pair of diagonal cutters, hold the two together so they're side by side right here. You take this diagonal cutter and you cut that off. So now you've got the main body of your reverse action tongs. Okay, you take, for the large melting dish bowl, I have this drawn out. I did it just for today. I have a bending jig that does this, but anyway, so I lay that down right by my marks right here. I'm going to zoom in on those if I can. How about the other zoom? This standing in front of the camera is a trick. Okay, so now I put the end of the wire at my first mark, and then I make my next mark at 3/8 of an inch, and then my next mark is at 2 1/8 from the end. Then I mark the end at 6 1/2, 3/8 in, and then another 1 1/8. So I now have 4 marks on there, 5 marks. And now from the far end, I'm going to take that and cut it off. And what I'm going to end up with this piece is one cradle. So now I go right to the inside of the mark, clamp on my vice grips. I should have had my hammer ready already. And remember, just something. This is something you can do at home. And then We bend that up at 90 degrees. I can't find the camera there. Then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to point this leg straight up, clamp right behind the mark, and then I'm going to bend this in the same direction. If they don't come out exactly even, you don't even worry about it. You just clamp one of those, get another pair of pliers, and twist it. Okay, so now I clamp in on the inside of the next mark, and I just roll it. Give it an angle, I don't know what that is, probably 30 degrees. 40 degrees. I do the same thing here. Get them pretty much straight up. Then you just hold it up and eyeball it and go, well, that's not quite enough there and too much there. You go right back, just reclamp. You bend two of those, you got it just like so. Then you take your melding dish and you'll see that it makes a nice little cradle. And then the next process we're going to do, we're going to gas weld the cradle onto the tong. So I'm going to go dispense with this and go set up to do the gas welding, so I'll be back shortly.